There are three things that are important in a man's life: good food, good drink, and adequate data storage.
Oh, good call, Brian.
These are the things that define us. These are the things that move us forward as a people.
As a society.
There was a point where we had RAID 5.
Yeah.
And RAID 5...
back like 1780?
Yeah, 1776. Right. Every 4th of July, we get together and we celebrate the existence of RAID 5. At least I'm assuming that's what we're doing it for, because I can't think of any. That's what the fireworks are for. Correct.
It's a United States thing.
It's yeah. You guys up in Canada would not understand with your Boxing Day.
Or the UK.
So no, I think they have the 4th of July in the UK.
No, but
I think
ours
they just
is
say
for
it
storage.
different. Ours is just for storage, right? So. So RAID 5 is great. Everyone loves RAID 5. It's just very
a little restrictive.
It's restrictive. It has some confines to it.
There's a lot of management that comes along with a RAID 5
it's too much
system.
to think about, but it is very big. It is very.
You know what?
Doable.
Though someone's come along, Brian,
and
they are shattering that paradigm.
Just shattering it, you say?
They're blowing it out. It's the Drobo from Data Robotics.
From Data
Robotics.
Robotics.
Data Robot.
The Drobo. As they say.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the Drobo along with the Droboshare, which runs Linux.
Beautiful. All right, so let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about first off the general overview. The
design.
Drobo.
Let's talk about the design of the Drobo.
So
quickly,
the Drobo is a small device. So for those of you who have video, you can see it here, holding it in my hand.
And right next to it is my EEE PC.
Look at that. So it's small. It's a small device. You can see, the front of it is about the width of a hand. The top's a little longer.
Yeah.
It's a small device. It's a very slick device, and it's a device with 0 buttons on it. It has nothing. There's not
very sleek. The
there's
only
not
thing
one button
it has
on the
is
whole
on the back.
thing.
There are spots for USB and power, and that's it.
And a key lock.
The front, even though there's information like LED displays and stuff, the front is completely opaque glass.
While the cover
plastic.
is on. Right. Now there's a cover that pops off,
and you don't even when it's off, you don't even see that.
Right.
Careful,
right.
You are moving my 4 terabyte drives around there.
Yeah, you don't mind. So,
and then there's the Droboshare.
And then there's the Droboshare, which looks similar. It's basically, for those of you who can't see the video, it acts like a pedestal, a platform.
Yep. Drobo
sits on top of it. It's
and
very thin, about an inch tall, and then otherwise the same shape.
And it's got, I'm going to show them the back there. It's got 1 gigabit Ethernet port and then 2 USB ports. You can plug 2 Drobos into a Droboshare.
Okay.
And then this has a Samba server on it.
Okay, well, let's get to that next.
All right.
Let's focus on the Drobo first, so that we have a base of understanding for which to really analyze the Droboshare.
Gotcha.
All right, so the Drobo basically comes in one size. It's a one size fits all device. Currently, there's 2 models.
It's about exactly.
There's the USB model, and then there's a newer FireWire model.
FireWire 800, which it comes with an adapter to do regular FireWire too.
Sure. So, but they're all the same amount of drives. They all fit 4 drives.
Right. And the base model has no drives.
Right.
Base model comes with no drives.
You buy a Drobo, you get nothing. You get nothing with your Drobo.
Right.
It's an empty device. It's empty inside.
It needs to be filled.
It's dead inside.
Now the nice thing about the Drobo is you can fill it with 4 drives,
right.
and they can be mismatched size.
Right, which is pretty cool. So RAID 5, if you want to put a terabyte drive in, they've all got to be terabyte drives.
Or if you go less, if you do like a 750 drive, then you only get you're losing the space on those other terabyte drives.
The entire life of your storage is 750 gigabit drives. The Drobo, on the other hand, you can put in a 300 meg drive. You can put in a terabyte drive. It doesn't matter what you put in.
You can pick up a 500 gigabyte SATA drive now for
like
$80 US dollars.
Yeah.
So you could put in.
Right, and the 750 gig drives
like
are at a decent price
point. It's like $105
and we're going to get 2 terabyte drives before long.
Yep.
And theoretically, those are all supported by the Drobo.
They have tested in-house up to 4 terabytes. The entire Drobo model itself has a 16...
4 terabytes per drive.
Yes. The entire model itself has a 16 terabyte limit. Is it theoretical? Some people are saying it might be more than that.
But for now, I mean,
they've only tested the 16 terabytes.
We're not going to go out and buy 4 terabyte SATA drives to throw in this thing. So, for now, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And realistically, 16 terabytes for a small storage device is pretty phenomenal.
So the cover is it's opaque, like I mentioned, in certain areas, and it very lightly magnetically seals to the front of the Drobo.
Yeah. I'm glad it's not powerfully magnetic.
No.
That would be bad.
It's very light.
Yeah.
And then it has 4 LEDs on the front which tell you the status of your drives. Green means nothing's wrong, everything's healthy. Yellow, and remember there's a LED for each drive. A yellow LED means this drive's starting to get full. You should consider replacing it soon.
Nice.
A red light means this is the drive you have to replace. Flashing red means a drive failure.
That's not bad.
There's
it's pretty straightforward.
It can also toggle red, yellow, saying, okay, you can't replace this drive at this moment. I'm doing something fancy in the background.
That's not bad.
And then it's got a legend on the back.
Aha. So the few things you actually have to know about the Drobo, you just pop the lid up and there you go.
What,
Here's the whole Drobo.
That's a great way to put it. That is the few things you ever have to know about the Drobo.
And that's
the rest is all taken care of.
You just pop it out and you get a little picture legend. That's fantastic.
So then the drives.
all along, so if the drives themselves are NTFS, FAT32, or HFS.
HFS plus. It'll do.
Plus.
It has blue LEDs
along
the bottom.
they kind of go along the bottom here that show you how full the drive is. Yep. That's pretty cool.
Why don't you explain what I'm doing for the people on audio?
All right. So what Chris is doing here, for those of you in audio land who are so direly missing out on, is he is just sliding those drives out of the Drobo right now. The interesting thing here is that the Drobo has no trays, has no screws. You don't need a tool set of any kind to install new drives. You simply, if you have a standard layout SATA drive, you just slide it in, it clips into place, and then when you want to remove it, you don't have to power the machine down. You just pop the thing out and you slide the drive out.
Yep, as long as it's not flashing, the one indication that says you can't replace right now, which I've done extensive testing, I've never seen that. You're good to go.
That's really pretty slick.
It's very nice. It's to the point, but with the lighting system and how easy it is, and then you combine the Droboshare, which makes it a NAS. I could literally drop this off at a client that just needs simple file store and say, here you go. When this light turns yellow, slide this drive that I have next to it in there and replace it.
Okay, so let's talk limitation for a moment.
Okay.
All right. So the current or the old model Drobo, which this is and which you can get still buy,
the one that it's discounted and only does USB 2.0,
has a limit of a 2 terabyte per volume limit.
So I've got 4 terabytes in there right now.
So it's going to split it out between 2 terabyte volumes.
The Droboshare negates that because the Droboshare handles all that with its Linux OS.
So it combines it all together. Auto-magically
my network only sees it as one volume, even though to the Droboshare,
that's good.
The Drobo's presenting itself as 2 volumes.
Now,
every 2 terabytes, the USB 2.0 Drobo will cut off a 2 terabyte volume.
Now, that's really not too bad. So now the Droboshare can actually handle 2 Drobos at once.
Yeah, it has 2
plugged
USB
into
ports.
it.
Yep.
Do you know that if you plug in 2 Drobos, if it's going to still show up as a singular set of shares?
My understanding is 2 Drobos, still 1 share.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty slick. That's pretty slick.
So you could get 8 terabytes rolling off this Droboshare.
That is pretty slick. I mean, really, that's not bad.
And then as larger drives come along, you just slide them in here, and it automatically increases the size.
Well, hey, that's really not shabby at all.
Now the other major limitation.
Yeah.
There's actually 2.
Uh-oh.
One is the speed.
Okay.
The older version.
Well, I mean, it is USB, so
older version writes around 9 to 10 megabytes a second and reads around 11 to 12 megabytes a second.
So that's not phenomenal speed. I mean, especially when we're comparing it, like we did the HP Media Vault review, which had phenomenal speeds.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking like
40 megs a minute.
It was crazy.
But 12 megs a second is fast enough to stream high def. I was able to connect my Popcorn Hour to this unit and play back high def.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
The other thing, too, is there's no... So you manage the Drobo through the Drobo dashboard. It's an application-based. It's not web-based.
Okay.
There's no client app for Linux yet.
But there will be.
There's one for Windows, one for Mac. Drobo, Data Robotics, is releasing an SDK for the Linux installed on Droboshare.
Okay.
It's in private beta now. Already, one of the developers has created a Linux dashboard, fully feature complete. So when Drobo rolls out the new firmware, you'll be able to download
for the Droboshare.
You'll be able to download it and manage the Drobo. And I think maybe
that's not bad.
The guy had it working over USB too, so maybe you don't have to have the Droboshare.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's
the Droboshare
very
adds
cool.
Another $200 to the price of the Drobo.
Right, but it adds, and currently it just adds Samba sharing, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that then takes the place of like an HP Media Vault or a dedicated.
Yeah, the other thing the SDK is going to let them do is a universal plug and play server and a DLNA server. Those two things let you stream to a PS3 or like an Xbox 360 straight from the box.
Well, that's pretty slick, but it's not out yet. Nope. And have they announced when the firmware is coming?
No, but the things I'm talking about are already completely developed.
So it's just close. A matter of the firmware coming out, and then we get those features. That's pretty cool because like the HP Media Vault does all that stuff.
Yes,
and that's really when I look at this. I mean, that's
yeah.
That's what would make me want to go with an HP Media Vault over something
like an HP Media Vault or a free NAS box you build yourself, maybe a ready NAS.
You're gonna get a lot more features.
Those come with more features, and they're probably even a little cheaper right now. Now, the thing is, they're not as easy to use, and I want my TV and I want all that stuff to be as easy as possible.
Yeah.
And this is wife. This is totally spouse approved. She can slide in drives. She can
wife approved.
So that is really nice.
No, that is pretty slick. I don't know. For me, I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, so the current model has the 2 terabyte drive limitation over USB. The new one that is already out,
if you do over FireWire, it's 16 terabytes.
So my thinking is maybe get 1 or 2 of the FireWire versions of these. Plug those into like an HP Media Vault, which just has phenomenal speeds,
or even your own rolled like mini, just some cheap machine,
your own,
maybe like one of those koalas from System 76.
Oh, that
they're
would
kind of like
great.
Mac Mini size.
Yeah, and they're quiet little machines.
But I almost don't even really see the need for that when you go with the Droboshare with the SDK that's going to have the plug and play server.
Because still you're looking at the Droboshare is USB only.
Yeah,
so
it's faster though with the new unit.
Yeah, but it's still not going to be FireWire 800
fast.
That's true. I mean, come on.
They'll probably release a Droboshare 2 with FireWire 800.
Okay, see that changes things though. If they come out with the Droboshare with FireWire,
so if this version is doing 12 megs a second, the limitation is not the Droboshare. The limitation is the Drobo.
That's true.
Because this is gigabit Ethernet. Now, they say the newer version is slightly faster even with USB. And if I can already stream a couple HD things off of the standard,
that's not exactly. You're not exactly going to have speed problems at that point.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
I guess that's true. That's not a big deal, and it is kind of cool having an all-in-one little package. I can essentially put this together and plop the Drobo on top of a Droboshare, maybe even get a second Drobo, plug them in together, and stick them in a closet somewhere, and then I have all the storage for my entire house in one spot.
It grows with you as you can put 2 750s in there, then you put a terabyte in there, then you pull one out. And
I don't have to buy all the drives up front. I can just add them as I go.
You could build your own system with like LVM and something like that. But this is so simple, and if it's a ready NAS, you're stuck at like RAID 5 or even RAID 10. The thing about it is you don't get that dynamic expansion.
Right. The dynamic expansion is what's doing it for me. Kind of a big deal because honestly, if this didn't have the dynamic expansion, this would be really uninteresting. But with the dynamic expansion, this is exciting. Actually,
my wife takes a million pictures. Our music library is always growing. Our home video library is always growing. As we do video shows, that's going to require more storage.
Right.
So
true.
I don't know. It's a pretty nice device.
We do need a lot of storage.
We should talk really briefly the security of the Droboshare. It starts out full guest access,
which is the same, to be fair, as the HP Media Vault. Both of these ship by default as full read-write guest. I mean,
you can lock it down from there if you want.
Right. Okay. At least you can lock it down. I mean, but now because the Droboshare runs Linux, and they're allowing more applications to be written for it. Then it kind of opens up the potential of seeing something like Apache or something, maybe.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
Running on a Droboshare.
You get Apache, you get MySQL on here. And then
dude, could you imagine if you had a whole LAMP development environment?
And it's already got built-in RAIDs. It's redundant. It literally just fit on a shelf.
Because like co-located like server hosting and whatnot. Just buy a Drobo with a Droboshare, and let that be your server. I don't know what the processor
specs on here, but it really could be kind of cool because
that could be awesome. Even if it was just a file share, even if it was just a web server for sharing out files
with built-in RAID.
Oh, that'd be slick.
I bet you'll see something like that.
Oh, it would solve a lot of our problems. That's really not too shabby. So I mean, it's a slick looking unit. It's classy looking. It's relatively quiet. We don't have it turned on right now, but there's louder units in the world.
Definitely. There's definitely louder stuff. The newer one's even quieter.
Yeah,
it's got a bigger fan, little different ventilation.
See on the back here, you can see where the kind of there's a little circle and there's a little where the vent is.
Right.
And it's still pretty classy looking.
The other thing I'd say is, when it's off right now, you don't see any lights, you don't see any openings. Even the Droboshare itself, very slick, no buttons.
It's just black.
And when it turns
on, shiny, like pearly black.
When it turns on, LEDs shine through the glass.
That's pretty slick.
It's very sturdy.
That's pretty.
It's very
slick.
well built. Very well
built.
And
the two of them, it's hard to get a sense without touching it, but they fit together so nicely. It's like the rubberized feet just slide into these little hooks on the Droboshare, and they feel tight together and sturdy. Like there's no bending to the case. I mean, it's nice and metal. You hear that?
Yep.
I mean, it's not a cheap plastic little thing for the most part.
It feels like a very high-end piece of equipment.
It is impressive. I got to admit. I mean, when we reviewed the HP Media Vault, I got really excited about it. I mean, it's
but I would knock it's the plasticky drive tray.
See, that was the thing.
It was weak.
That was the thing. There was multiple pieces on that where it was just like it was a small like mini ATX type case.
Yeah.
And whereas this is really like they custom built this.
It's a sturdy
for
built
this
appliance.
purpose.
Yeah,
and it's more of an appliance. That's
exactly.
the thing. Yeah.
Now next week.
Impressive.
Next week we're going to compare this. So we've done the HP Media Vault that runs Linux.
Next episode.
Oh yeah, the next episode we're going to compare this to the Windows Home Server.
Right.
So we've tried the version that runs Linux.
Man, that's going to be a trip.
Yeah.
Linux Action Show reviews Windows Home Server.
Well, I think it's good though because it's a good comparison of two network attached storage devices that run Linux. See how the Windows version stacks up.
I am really curious about that. I want to pick that against the Drobo with Droboshare and the Media Vault because. I am interested. I mean, because that is Microsoft's answer to this sort of thing. Is the home server? Yeah. And like HP, HP has their home server thing. So I want to see how the HP with Windows is running against the HP with Linux.
You got it.
And their different branding and everything.
Next episode we'll do that.
That's exciting, actually.
All right, Brian. I think
so. We're gonna give this a go.
That wraps this up. I think this rating is a buy.
This is definitely a buy.
Yeah, by the both of us, I think we both like it. It's a little more pricey, but you kind of pay what you get for. You know
what I've noticed a trend.
You get what you pay for.
We tend to not review the really crappy devices. So it's pretty much if we are reviewing this, I know it makes us kind of come across as like we're a bunch of fanboys. Well,
we haven't reviewed the Windows Home Server yet.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see how that goes, huh? But you know what I mean. For the most part, I mean, all the devices. Like we checked out the Kindle last time.
Yep,
that was great.
Yep.
I mean, there's just
Nokia.
so many, the Nokia tablet. I mean, there's just so many good devices. The EEE. I mean, everything. We just
All right, Brian. That's our review of the Drobo
and the Droboshare.